Hello, my name is Ashley Share. I'm the founder and CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today I am going to introduce the Gita to you for our RYT 300 yoga teacher training from the beautiful setting of Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. So the Gita is what we'll study for our 30 hours of philosophy as required by the RYT 300. And it is broken into about 700 verses, and it takes place in a battlefield. And it's like an epic tale, just like the Odyssey or Iliad. And the battlefield can be seen as a metaphor of the battle from within. The Gita was written it was an oral tradition from about 1000 BCE, and there is scholarly debate that the setting of the battlefield was just a backdrop to make the story exciting, to keep it alive all those years for the past 3,000 years, and that the real essence of the Gita is really about the battle within. Structurally, the Gita is broken up into about 700 verses, and the main characters are Krishna, which is a chariot driver for Prince Arun, and he is also a reincarnate of God. Whether or not you take the Gita to be a religious text or not, either way we can study it through critical thinking. The 700 or so verses are broken into 3 parts. So chapters 1 through 6 focus on the end of sorrow. Chapters 7 through 12 focus on the topic like 1,000 suns. I'm looking at my cheat sheet, so. And chapters 13 through 18 is love is to know me. So, this Gita is considered one of the most important stories in Indian philosophy, and it is part of the ancient Hindu scripture. Lessons that can be taken away from the Gita are that the same reality lies at the core of every person, that whether we are in Cabo San Lucas or incarcerated or anywhere in between, we battle ourselves in the same way, thinking about what we should do and what we are doing already, that dichotomy, trying to motivate, trying to be healthy, exercising discipline, trying to focus on positive thoughts, trying to respond instead of react, decrease impulsivity, which can get us into trouble. These are all quintessential human struggles. The other takeaway we can get from the Gita is that we're constantly changing, that no 2 days are exactly the same, and that we're in a dynamic environment. So this is where the concept of letting go comes into yoga. And the other third part, the takeaway from the Gita, is really trying to explain to readers what the purpose of life is. So whether you agree with the Gita as a religious text or not, either way you can think of it as critical thinking. And for those that do find spirituality in the Gita tries to drive the message that the purpose of life is self-realization, and to have humility to a higher being, and to access that higher being through service to others, and to sort of get out of selfishness, and the Gita talks about how selfishness and worrying about oneself leads to a lot of pain. In the Gita, one of the clear messages that we will see as we do a verse by verse analysis is that the message is to be compassionate to friend and enemy alike. So in this epic battle of the Gita, in the end, there's mass destruction. It's like the American Civil War. The American Civil War was brother against brother fighting, sometimes cousin against cousin fighting. In the story of the Gita, in this epic battle, it's also cousin against cousin fighting. And in the end, there's mass casualties on both sides. And even though Aruna is victorious, he doesn't feel victorious because of the mass devastation and the mass loss of casualties. And so his victory is one also filled with sorrow. And that's where the compassion comes in, to see yourself in everyone and everything, to see yourself as, connected in this plant, connected in others. And by seeing ourselves in others and in our natural environment, it allows us to be compassionate towards other people and to see the commonality among us all. So in treating friend and enemy alike, it allows one to suffer the sorrows of others. So at ShareLove.Fund, we provide yoga teacher training for incarcerated women, and that's a way that we are sharing the sorrows of others, but then also trying to be productive about it, to provide education and an opportunity to earn a free yoga degree to level the playing field. Scholars can debate forever whether the Gita is really just about retelling the story of an epic battle like the Odyssey, or if it's really just driving at this struggle that Aruna has for self-mastery. Aruna and Krishna are not merely characters in a literary masterpiece. Most scholars agree. Aruna becomes every man, asking the Lord or a higher being, in the case of the Gita, Krishna, the perennial questions about life and death, not as a philosopher, but as a man of action. So there's a lot of philosophy books where the main character is asking really abstract questions, but as you will see when we study the text, that Aruna is he's a warrior, and he's a very good warrior, and so he's a man of action. So when he asked Krishna, which is his chariot driver, disguised as an incarnate of God in this story, disguised as his chariot driver, when he asked him these questions, he asked them in a really practical sense. Like, what does this mean for me now? What should I do now? Why should I care? Why is this happening? Sort of like how you and I might ask in a practical sense. And this practical approach has really made this a timeless text. It seems to lead to a dialogue that each of us can have with ourselves internally, between an ordinary human personality full of questions about the meaning of life. A quote from the Gita, a little sneak peek. I am the self in the heart of every creature, Aruna, in the beginning, middle, and end of their existence. So this is Krishna saying that he is with us, And again, this is not proclaiming any religious belief. It's just studying this as critical thinking, and you can take from it what you want. So that is our overview of the Gita, and we'll begin dissecting verse by verse. Namaste.